Hello and welcome to my channel, Extremely Good Reviews. This is my thoughts on video. My thoughts on Monday Night Raw from the 12th of October 2020, night 2 of the WWE Draft. The show opens with thunder and lightning again. Boring. Randy Orton comes out, says he'll beat Drew McIntyre to win the WWE title. This obviously brings out Drew McIntyre, who disagrees. He comes down and attacks Randy Orton. The two brawl till Orton manages to slither away. Round 1 of the draft picks for night 2 of the WWE Draft. Raw picks The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. SmackDown picks the Women's Champion, Bayley. Raw picks Randy Orton. SmackDown picks the Street Profits. The Raw Tag Team Champions are now going over to SmackDown. And Raw picks Charlotte Flair, who is currently still out injured, but they want her on their roster, so good for them. First match of the night, Aleister Black taking on Kevin Owens in a no DQ match. This was a belter of a match. Still love the drone cam. We still get to see drone cam. Still love. Big fan of that. Doesn't take long before the table comes out. This being a DQ match, you can't get disqualified. A no DQ match. Cheers and all that get involved. There's a great moment where Aleister Black hits a double knee strike onto Kevin Owens onto 4 chairs that have been set up in the ring. Ultimately, Kevin Owens wins the match. He hits a stunner and does a powerbomb through the table that Aleister Black brought into the ring. And Kevin Owens has won the match. Is this the end of their feud? We'll find out. Round 2, draft picks. We get Raw picking Braun Strowman. SmackDown picks Daniel Bryan. Raw picks Matt Riddle, the broski, Matt Riddle. SmackDown picks Kevin Owens, and Raw picks Jeff Hardy. We then get the Miz TV segment. It's Miz TV, and his special guests are Mandy Rose and Dana Brooks. The Miz is taking credit for Mandy Rose having more success now since she's moved over to Raw from SmackDown. He's saying it's all thanks to him, pat on the back, etc. They're quite a funny duo. I do enjoy the Miz and Morrison, the chemistry they've got. Out comes Natalya and Lana. They disagree with things that Dana Brooks and Mandy Rose have said. These two teams brawl a little. That's all it is. Go to an advert break. When we come back, it's just the Miz and Morrison. The Miz announces that Morrison will be his Plan B special guest. But this brings out Lars Sullivan, who goes to attack the Miz and Morrison. The Miz manages to escape, but Morrison, you are the sacrificial lamb this time. You get absolutely pulverized by Lars Sullivan. He is a beast. We then see Adam Pearce backstage. He's talking to the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the New Day, and the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. Since both teams have been switched over in the draft to opposite shows, Adam Pearce suggests, why not trade your titles, switch your titles, which is what they do. Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode come into the picture, and they're like, well, hang on, we don't care who the Tag Team Champions are, we want a shot at the Tag Team titles, so the New Day accept. Match made for later in the night. Third round draft picks. It's Raw picking the faction of Retribution. SmackDown picks Lars Sullivan. Raw, Keith Lee. SmackDown, King Corbin. And Raw picks Alexa Bliss. Twisted Bliss is going over to Raw, and The Fiend got traded earlier. Makes sense. Out comes Seth Rollins. This is his farewell. His bidding farewell to Raw, the Raw brand. He's now been traded over to SmackDown, as we found out on SmackDown. So he wants to bid farewell. Jeff Hardy comes out, because Seth's saying that no one can fill my shoes. Jeff Hardy comes out believing that he can become the new locker room leader. This brings out AJ Styles. All 3 men brawl. And I'm pretty sure Jeff Hardy announces that we're going to have a triple threat tag match. Okay, I thought, what? That doesn't make any sense. There's 3 of you there. Who's your tag team partner going to be? Anyway, when we come back after the other break, it's a match. An official match, but it's just a standard triple threat match. So I'm pretty sure he had a tag match. Let me know in the comments if you heard it too. But anyway, triple threat match here between Seth Rollins, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles. This was a belter of a match. A belter of a match. This was great. Just a plain triple threat match, but lots of action, lots of things. It really got going for the last half of the match. Lots of things occurring. Hardy hits a swanton bomb. AJ Styles comes in, flings Jeff Hardy out the ring, or attempts to fling him out the ring so he can get the pin on Seth Rollins, but he doesn't. Seth Rollins kicks out. AJ is... Elias comes in then. But Elias smashes a guitar over Jeff Hardy when Jeff Hardy looks like he's getting on top. AJ Styles pins Jeff Hardy and wins the match. AJ Styles wins the Triple Threat match. Elias, why did you do what you did? We'll find out later on in the night. That was our second match of the night, by the way. That was our second match of the night, and we were halfway through the show already. Only 2 matches after an hour and a half. Round 4 of the draft picks. Raw picks Elias. We've just seen Elias. They've picked Elias. SmackDown picks Sami Zayn, the Intercontinental Champion. He's staying on SmackDown. Raw picks Lacey Evans, the Southern Belle, Lacey Evans. She's going over to Raw. SmackDown wants to keep hold of Cesaro and Nakamura, so they pick them. And Raw picks Sheamus. Okay, Sheamus moving over to Raw. Third match of the night. These two teams were brawling earlier in the night. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooks taking on Alana and Natalya. All 4 women are in the ring, so we don't get to see any entrances here. They're in the ring. It's a relatively quick match. Dana Brooks hits an assisted senton bomb on Lana to pin her to win. Poor Lana, still getting buried. Natalya, after the match, decides, I'm done with you, Lana. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of all this losing. I'm done with you. And she walks off. She leaves an upset-looking Lana in the ring. No! I like them as a team, so that's unfortunate. Ricochet seen backstage. He approaches the Hurt Business. He says, look, after this whole draft, we don't know where everyone will be. Obviously, the Hurt Business has already been picked on to stay on Raw, but Apollo Crews and Ricochet, we don't know where they're going to end up. Ricochet decides, well, if I win tonight, let's have a match. Against any one of you, if I win, this feud with the Hurt Business is done. If you win, I'll join the Hurt Business. So they accept. Cedric Alexander is the one accepting the challenge. We get our 4th match of the night now. It's Angel Garza, taking on Andrade. Zelina Vega is at ringside doing commentary. Obviously, these 3 were all part of a team together. It's a relatively quick match. Andrade early on targets Angel Garza's injured leg, but ultimately Angel Garza fights back, hits the wing clipper, and pins Andrade to win the match. He walks off, blows a kiss to Zelina Vega and whatnot, and end of your feud. Andrade and Zelina Vega in the ring. Zelina Vega checking on Andrade. Lights go out. They start flickering. They go out. The Fiend is approaching. When the lights come back on, it's Alexa Bliss in the corner doing that whole crab look stir thing that the Fiend used to do, that Bray Wyatt used to do. She's doing that. Then behind Andrade, it's the Fiend. They hit twin Sister Abigail's. Alexa hitting one on Zelina Vega, and the Fiend hitting one on Andrade, and then they both stare at each other as the lights stay red. Ooh, lovely, loving this. 5th round. We get our 5th round draft picks now. Raw picks Nikki Cross, taking her from SmackDown. SmackDown takes Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler from Raw. Raw wants to keep hold of the 24/7 champion R-Truth. SmackDown picks Apollo Crews, and Raw wants to keep Dabba-Kato, Shane McMahon's favourite guy right now, Dabba-Kato. 5th match of the night, made earlier on in the night. It's The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods taking on Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler for the Raw Tag Team Champions. Obviously, the titles were switched early on in the night, so New Day went from being the SmackDown Tag Team Champions to the Raw Tag Team Champions. Good for them. A relatively quick match. Everyone gets a little bit of offense in here and there, but the New Day hit the midnight hour later on, and the New Day retain their titles. Good for them. Good little match, but it was relatively quick. Elias is in backstage. He says that he's not forgiven Jeff Hardy for running him down. The interviewer, I think it was Charlie Caruso, said that was never proven. He said, I know it was Jeff Hardy, and he's going to do a concert next week. That'll be interesting to see. 6th match of the night. Cedric Alexander with the Hurt Business taking on Ricochet, and this was quite a fun little match. Obviously, these two are quite accomplished high flyers, athletic individuals. You do see a bit of that athleticism. At one point, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet kicks out of a pin, sending Cedric Alexander into the referee, knocking the referee, injuring him slightly, so it appears. While the referee's distracted, MVP slides a chair in, but Ricochet intercepts. Ricochet picks up the chair. He's going to use it, it looks. He slams it on the ring mat and flings himself to the floor. He's channeling his inner Eddie Guerrero. La, we cheat, we steal. Inner Eddie Guerrero works. The referee turns around. He's heard the chair shot. He looks. Ricochet's on the floor. Cedric's holding the chair. Rings for the bell. Disqualification. Ricochet wins the match by disqualification. Really, the agreement that they made earlier, this would mean now that this is over. Ricochet won the match. It didn't say by which means. Here he's won by disqualification. So this should be over, but I don't think it will be. Not because of the means in which Ricochet won the match. 6th round draft picks now. 6th and final. Stephanie announces Titus O'Neil staying on Raw. SmackDown, Carmella. Raw, Peyton Royce. SmackDown picks Aleister Black. Aleister Black's moving over to SmackDown, so Aleister Black and Kevin Owens, their feud can continue. And Raw picks Akira Tozawa, no doubt with his little ninja posse that he's got. After that, out comes Asuka. She is announced to be joining the commentary team for the upcoming Women's Battle Royal match. So, the 7th match of the night, the 7th and final match of the night. It's a dual brand Women's Battle Royal for the number 1 contender to the Raw Women's title, Asuka's Women's title. We get all the women in the ring. We see the women's tag team champions come down to the ring. Then we go on an advert break. When we come back, all the women are in the ring. Alexa Bliss wasn't there, which was unfortunate. First eliminated from the match is Tamina by Nia Jax, and that is quickly followed by Billie Kay. There's quite a few other eliminations that go on, I believe. All the women are teaming to get Nia Jax out of the ring. Now, Nia Jax earlier in the match saved Shayna Baszler from getting eliminated by Dana Brooks and Mandy Rose, I think. But here, Shayna actually helps all the other women to eliminate Nia Jax. This sends Nia Jax into a little fit of rage. And she puts Lana through the announce table on the outside. Poor Lana, still getting buried. I think the announcer said this is the 4th time she's gone for the announce table. Poor Lana. We get a lot more fighting. Bianca Belair, great to see her back. I wanted to see her back for a while. She eliminates Shayna Baszler. Great show of strength by Bianca Belair. She eliminates Shayna Baszler. It ultimately, when it comes down, the final 4 ladies are Natalya, Lacey Evans, Liv Morgan, and Ruby Riott, the Riott Squad. You'd assume they'd work together. No. Well, they do work together, but they end up getting eliminated next. It's a dual elimination. Natalya eliminates Ruby Riott in one corner at the same time as Lacey Evans is eliminating Liv Morgan in the other corner. It's down to Natalya and Lacey. These two are fighting on the ringside. Either one could go. You know, they're always teasing. It's the same kind of thing that they always do in all battle royals, teasing the elimination when they're both teetering on the edge. Ultimately, Natalya eliminates Lacey Evans, and the commentators are announcing, "Oh, she's won the match." No music hits or anything like that. No graphics or anything like that. You know it's not over. Lana runs in and boots Natalya off the ring apron. Natalya's been eliminated. Lana, it was announced, was never eliminated from the match. She must have gone under the ropes, and Nia Jax has put her through the table, so she's been out for the rest of the match. She comes in here and wins the match. Lana is Asuka's new number 1 contender. So, all this burying that they've been doing, could they actually do something with Lana now? Let's hope so. We see during the Battle Royal, by the way, that Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton are brawling backstage. As soon as this match is over, the brawl emerges outside. It comes through, it's all around ringside. All these officials come out to try and separate them. And they do, they manage to separate them. It's nice to see that Devon Dudley is there as well. Nice to see him back doing his producer backstage duties. And that's how the show ends. The show ends with this pull-apart brawl between Drew and Randy Orton. So, my overall thoughts. This was a good show. It wasn't a bad show. First half of the show, only 2 matches in it, but then we ended the night by having 7 matches. 7 matches in all, I mean. I thought, for a wrestling show, only 2 matches after the first 1.5 hours. That's a bit odd. But anyway, like I said, it picked up its pace. All the other backstage segments seemed to work, seemed to do what they were intended to do. It being a 3-hour show, it's always a drag trying to get through 3 hours. But I think they kind of kept your interest. I mean, the draft obviously helps. The draft obviously piques your interest. You want to see who's going where. And I'll do a separate video outlining my thoughts on the draft, the overall draft. Obviously, more draft picks will be occurring on Raw Talk. So I'll cover the ones that have occurred on Raw Talk, on SmackDown, on Talking Smack, and here on Raw. I'll cover them all and give them my thoughts on video for that. My match of the night. Now, I've changed my phrasing for my match of the night. I normally call it my star match of the night. It's not my star match of the night anymore. It's my belter of the night. This was a belter of a night. and it's got to be the triple threat match between AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and Jeff Hardy, because it was a belter of a match. It was a good match. It was quite enjoyable. There was quite a few enjoyable matches on this card, so it was quite difficult to pick one particular one. But this has to be the belter of the night for me. This was a good match. It'd be interesting to see, now that they're saying, now that the draft is done, what occurs. They're saying next week's Raw and next week's SmackDown. This week's Friday Night SmackDown and next week's Monday Night Raw are going to be premiere episodes. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on from there going forwards, what feuds will start up, what feuds will continue. Because remember, we're still building up towards Hell in a Cell. So, overall thoughts. Good show, well worth a watch. Obviously difficult to get through 3 hours, but still, it keeps your interest piqued because of the draft that was involved. But yeah, so good show. Overall, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Like this video, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay classy.